Now let's practice. Let's recognize some of the TCP/IP tools, some of the TCP/IP commands that helps in troubleshooting the network and in uh, determining the IP addresses of the machines and the domain names of the websites and so on. Let's start by this command. It's ipconfig. Let's try this command now. How do we try this command ipconfig, and what could be its output? ipconfig is used, if we type it here on the command prompt, is used to determine the IP address, the physical address, the gateway address, the subnet mask, and other addresses, all the TCP/IP configuration of the machine. If we type ipconfig/all, we get more configuration in details about the TCP/IP configuration of all the Ethernet cards and the Wi-Fi cards existing on a certain machine, laptop or PC or any other machine that we need to know its IP address, its gateway, or its DNS that is resolving the domain names for it, or its gateway, the router that is connected to this machine to connect it to the internet. The second command that we need to know about is the ping command. Ping stands for Packet Internet Grouper. We can access the help of this command, the manual of this command, by typing ping minus question mark. Here is the help. Here is the manual of this command. For example, if I type now ping www.yahoo.com, I'm testing the connectivity between my machine and yahoo.com. Either I get a reply, which means that I am connected, or I get a request timed out, which means that I am not connected to such machine. So I can type ping followed by an IP address and ping followed by a domain name. I can type ping for a domain name followed by the switch -t, which means that I need to execute an uninterrupted ping that goes on a number of packets and sends to me the reply until I press Ctrl+C to stop this operation. Here I am connected to google.com, and the request, the ICMP request packet sent by this command, is replied by the ICMP reply that is appearing on the CMD screen. I can specify the number of packets sent by my machine to the destination machine I need to ping. For example, I can type ping -n6 www.google.com, which means I need only to send 6 packets and see the reply only. Here are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it stops. Ping has so many switches. If I need to know all the switches of the ping command and need to know more about them, I can type ping minus question mark and go on and see these switches and its usage and try to use them one by one. The other command that I want you to know about is the ARP command. ARP stands for Address Resolution Protocol, and as we have said before, ARP is the resolution protocol resolving the logical address into physical address, resolving the IP address into MAC address. If I type ARP minus question mark, I get the help or the manual of this command and can read the usage of this command. The most popular usage is using ARP -A to display the ARP cache of a certain machine. Here we can have the internet address and the physical address corresponding to it that are stored inside the ARP cache of this machine and used for the resolution between the IP and the physical address. This is a MAC address, this is an IP address, Both are used for the resolution between logical and physical, and both are stored in the ARP cache of this machine. ARP command once more can be used by several switches. You can have a look at ARP minus question mark to know the usages of such switches. You can make your machine act as an FTP client. If you type the command FTP, then you can type open, for example, ftp.microsoft.com, and then waits for the connection between your client machine and ftp.microsoft.com. It may ask you about username and password. If you supply them in a correct way, then you log in into the ftp.microsoft.com. To do what? To download files from this FTP server to your client machine. To get some files through the command get, and then type the file name. And you can upload some files through the command put, and then type the file names, and by this you can upload some files from your machine to the server machine. And you can type ls, which means that you want to list the contents of the FTP server that you are connected to. To end this FTP session, you just type bye and then end this FTP session. Another command that we need to know about is nslookup. nslookup is a very useful command in determining the IP address corresponding to a certain domain name. For example, if I type here www.google.com, I can get the IP addresses corresponding to google.com and connecting them to my machine. If I can type any domain name, I can get the corresponding IP address, and vice versa. If I can type an IP address, I can get the fully qualified domain name for this IP address. To exit from this command, I simply type exit. Another command that we need to know about is netstate. Netstate minus question mark shows the manual and the help of this command with many switches that can be used. Netstate is used to display the current connections of any machine. For example, if I type netstate minus n, I can see the machines that I am connected to currently through the IP address of my machine, the IP address of the foreign machine, the connection protocol, and the status of this connection. I can also type netstate minus a to display the same connections in the form of IP address of my machine, domain name of the connected machine, and the status of the connection. Netstate is very useful in determining and in specifying the connections that are connected to my machine in a certain moment of time. After this commands has been listed, we can go through them. Here is the ping, minus t minus n minus r minus w, minus t for uninterrupted ping, minus n for specifying certain number of packets, ping minus r for the route count, and ping minus w for the timeout, specifying the timeout. Here is the output of an ARP cache of a certain machine using the ARP minus a command. Here is using the FTP command to connect to an FTP server. You can use open, ls, cd, bin, get, mget, put, by. These commands can be tried on the FTP session. nslookup to resolve the DNS into the domain name into IP address using the DNS system. Route, this command is used to print the routing table for a certain machine. Route print, for example, displays the routing table for any machine that I am connected to. Displays the routing table of the machine that this command is typed on. The routing table and its components has been previously explained, and this is a simple routing table that you can have a look on. This is the destination network, this is the subnet mask, the gateway, the interface, and the metric or the cost. Just review the section speaking about the routing table, and you can see these columns as the components of the routing table. Finally, we come to the net state once more. Net state minus A, net state minus N, and net state minus P shows the connections with the name of the protocols. Net state minus P, for example, and then space TCP shows the connections made through the TCP protocol only through this machine where you type this command. Thank you.